I'm gonna do the intro. Hopefully, I don't butcher this because this is my first time reading it.
Okay.
Hang on. Let me drink some water. Hang on.
All right.
Being over dramatic on purpose. If one thing you don't know about me, I love being over dramatic. I don't know. Anyway, okay, here it is. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Everything's Better with podcast, where everything's better with the people I talk to. I'm your host, Agent P3, aka Perry, and each episode I talk. I already messed it up. I'll edit this in post. Each episode I talk to a different friend and a fellow content creator about topics that interest us. Today I have with me Yinsed, who makes video essays and all that stuff like me. But Yinsed could probably do a better intro for himself. You want to introduce yourself, Yinsed?
Hi, thanks for having me on, Perry. So basically, I am a film and animation commentator. I talk about all the different animation studios, Disney, Pixar, plus the occasional Marvel video if I'm in the mood, but yeah.
Yeah, he also does Blue Sky. I really liked your Peanuts video. It was very well done.
Yeah, Blue Sky.
Love that movie. Yeah, Blue Sky, RIP, RIP, Blue Sky.
I'm gonna try and still get creative with stuff that I can do with them, though, so I can keep them alive a little bit.
Yeah, no, I don't think a lot of people are doing Blue Sky, so I think that's very, very cool if you're doing that. So everyone else knows, like, you know, our relationship with each other. How we met. So we both are huge fans of Scaffrillis Productions.
Schaffrillis Productions, yes.
Schaffrillis, yes. Hal called me on that while we were recording this podcast. I can't say his name, but Schaffrillis Productions. You know, the funny crab man.
Yes.
What's his name? Tamatoa.
Tamatoa profile pic.
Yeah. That guy. He, you know, very famous for doing his analysis on like the DreamWorks movies and also this whatever movie he talks about. But yeah, we're huge fans of him, and his friend Space Chris 7 made a Discord server, and we both joined it. And I found out about him through one of his videos. And I actually shouted out one of his videos in my video, my Buzz Lightyear video. I shouted out his Buzz Lightyear analysis video, and that's kind of how we started talking to each other. Yeah. So that's pretty much covers how we met, I guess. Do you want to add on to that, or?
Nope, you explained it pretty well.
Cool. This is the this is the first episode of recording, but yeah, this is hopefully it doesn't become a mess. But anyway, let's get into our topic, I guess. So Yinsed, what was the our topic is going to be about Disney movies and like our history with Disney movies and animation in general. We both, like I said earlier, we're both very passionate about Disney movies. My profile pic is literally Agent P, which is, you know, he's a Disney character, and one of my first videos was on Toy Story. And Yinsed, I think one of your first videos was on Turning Red, right? That was your first review, I think.
No, my first video was Big Hero 6. It was the anatomy of that was his mistake.
Oh yeah,
the one that everyone was memeing. But like I unironically thought that was like a good scene, so like I just decided to give my take on it.
Gotcha. I haven't watched it yet because I haven't seen Big Hero 6. But when I watch Big Hero 6, I will definitely get that video watched. But what was the first Disney movie you remember watching? Like, it could be traditional Disney, Pixar, like anything Disney made.
So the first one that I can say that I specifically remember growing up with was probably Ratatouille.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't remember liking it that much as a kid. I can now definitely appreciate it with all the themes and everything, but like I just thought it was like a funny talking rap movie as a kid. And then the first one that I watched in theaters was Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you were probably. I was 12 when that came out. Do you remember how old you were?
Oh, I was 2012, so I was 8.
You were 8. Wow. Yeah, I think the first Disney movie I remember watching in theaters was actually Finding Nemo, and when that came out, I was about 3. Actually, I don't know if I saw that in theaters. The first one I remember was definitely Cars, though. That was the first one. That was 2006.
Yeah, well, the first Pixar movie that I watched in theaters was actually my first theatrical experience ever was Toy Story 3. But the first one from Walt Disney Animation Studios was Wreck-It Ralph.
Got you. I don't remember. I think I saw Meet the Robinsons. That was the first like traditional Disney movie I saw in theaters. That was like, I think that was 2007. But yeah, so my first Disney movie, and this is probably the first movie I ever watched, was Toy Story. And if anyone watched my Toy Story review, which probably none of you did because most of you guys saw me from The Boys. But the
The
Toy Story
Boys.
review. Yeah, the boys. Yeah, Toy Story is the first movie I ever watched, and it's literally one of my favorite movies of all time. And we both, I think we both also love Toy Story as well. But yeah, no, like I remember like watching, I think Toy Story 2, and just like watching the extras and seeing John Lasseter before he got canceled, and like just seeing all the behind the scenes of it, and just like really geeking out about like the technical aspect of like 3D animation, how much work went into it, and that kind of got me passionate about like
Yeah,
other studios.
yeah, it
go
was
ahead.
honestly impressive how well the movie turned out given its really troubled production and the
Yeah,
lack of faith from the higher ups, and how it was originally supposed to actually be a direct to video sequel, but they ended up giving a theatrical release, and was on par critically with the first, which was really impressive.
yeah, it was. Like I, honestly, like watching the movie now, I don't even know how it could have been direct to DVD, because like look, just comparing that to like the actual direct to DVD Disney movies we got in like
Oy vey.
Lion King 2, like yeah,
Oh
Aladdin
man.
2, like Jafar's Return, like all those like very much like bargain bin movies, like the quality between Toy Story 2 and those are like non-comparable. Like it is very interesting to see that history. Also, like I don't remember the exact story, but it got deleted, right? Like the whole entire Toy Story 2 got deleted, but I don't know
Yeah,
if that was after the movie got released or good.
yeah, it's been a while since I've seen the behind the scenes, but I'm pretty sure that's how it happened.
Yeah, like I thought that was very fascinating how like an entire movie just got deleted like that.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, Toy Story 2 is definitely like one of those miracle movies. Very
undoubtedly.
well done movie. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about was unless you want to talk about more about like your history of animation. Like, did you want to talk about like your history of like Blue Sky or like other animation studios besides Disney, or like
No, but I did
it's a
have
very
a
broad
question for
topic.
you. I did have a question for you.
Yeah,
What
go
would you
ahead.
say is your favorite? I know you said your favorite Pixar movie is Toy Story. What's your favorite Disney movie, like from Walt Disney Animation Studios?
Actually, Toy Story, I don't think it's my favorite Pixar movie anymore. It definitely was for a while, but now I want to say it's probably The Incredibles. The Incredibles or Ratatouille. Those are definitely like
I
better
love The
movies. Those
Incredibles so much. It's so
Yeah,
good.
Incredibles is so good. Ratatouille probably more so because I think like my recent watching of Ratatouille, I felt such a personal connection to Remy, and like just the idea of the like artists can come from any background, all that stuff. I've really related to that a lot.
Yeah. Actually,
Um,
allow me to really quickly make
go
amends to
ahead,
my
go ahead,
previous statement because The
go ahead.
Incredibles, I remember like vaguely like 1 year old me, my dad like just plopping me in front of the computer and then putting the DVD in back when we still used DVDs. And like I would watch that like religiously on loop. So like, and it came out the same year that I was born. So like I've essentially like literally grown up with that movie. It's like I have an
That's
unbreakable bond
crazy.
with it, honestly.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's definitely me with Toy Story, Toy Story 2. Those Toy Story 2 came out a year after or before I was born. So I definitely that, and like the Buzz Lightyear TV show we would watch like religiously as well. But yeah, I would say Ratatouille is probably my favorite Pixar movie. There's a lot of great Pixar movies, especially during that between like Toy Story and Toy Story 3. All those are bangers, but I would say Ratatouille is my favorite. But my favorite
Disney movie.
Disney movie, I'd say The Lion King is probably my favorite. Um, that's definitely like that movie is so powerful, and like the story is so powerful. The animation was fantastic. The music was fantastic. Like Hans Zimmerman, like he put his foot in that score, and like you can hear. I'm watching for a future video I'm making. Hopefully, it'll be out by the time this podcast comes out. I'm rewatching the Dark Knight movies for my Dark Knight video, and like hearing that score, I can hear a lot of like motifs from The Lion King, and that like he's such a talented film scorer, and I think that was one of his first movies. So he's a talented film composer, and that's probably one of his first movies. And he put his foot in that score.
Nice,
Um,
yeah. Lion
yeah, what
King,
about?
I'd say,
Yeah,
is
go ahead.
probably the one that I think, like, critically is the best, but
Hmm.
Lilo and Stitch will always be my
Oh yeah,
personal favorite. Did you watch my video on that? I did, like, a full 15-minute
yeah.
analysis on, like,
I need
which
to
is my
watch. I need to
favorite.
watch it.
You haven't watched Lilo
Yeah.
and Stitch yet?
No, I need to watch your video. I have watched Lilo and Stitch,
Okay,
and I
it's
honestly,
amazing.
yeah, I have a love love-hate relationship with Lilo and Stitch because, well, not love-hate relationship. I couldn't watch Lilo and Stitch when I was little because apparently I was scared of Stitch when I was younger, like the alien. So my parents wouldn't let me watch the movie or the TV show. And I watched it when I was older, and I thought it was good. Like I don't think I connected with the movie. I know like everyone loves that movie, but I don't know if it really did it for me. I have to rewatch it again.
Yeah, that's.
Because I don't know if I was fully paying attention with it. But no, Lilo Stitch is a solid movie. I just didn't really like. It didn't hit me that wow, this is like one of the best Disney movies of all time or something like that.
Yeah,
but
no,
Lilo Stitch is a solid
I really
choice.
liked how well it like blended the sci-fi genre with legitimately compelling family drama between Lilo and her sister. I thought that was really powerful, and I think Stitch is just so adorable, honestly, despite like him just being this monstrosity, honestly.
Yeah, his design is honestly very, very well done. Like of all like the iconic like character designs, like you got Mickey, you got Sonic, like all those characters. Yeah, Stitch is definitely like a very unique design. I don't think he's as iconic as Mickey or Sonic or like Mario or those characters, but like his design is very unique. I do like how he looks, and I can appreciate it more that I'm not scared of him.
Yeah,
as an adult. So yeah, but yeah, did you want to talk about like the other animation studios too, like Blue Sky? Like that's something that you're really into. What was your experience with Blue Sky growing up?
So yeah, I know Ice Age. Ice Age was my very first one. At least the one that I remember. And I actually remember watching 3 before I watched 2.
I did too. I watched Dawn of the Dinosaurs in theaters before I watched any other ones.
Yeah, I watched Dawn of the Dinosaurs before I watched Ice Age 2. I just thought that, like, I didn't know that Ice Age 2 existed until, like, way afterwards.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't the first Ice Age movie, but I knew that was the first one I watched. I just haven't seen the other ones because like I don't think I had any Ice Age movies in my house. It was always like Disney and DreamWorks movies. But Dawn of the Dinosaurs was the first one I watched too. And then I also saw Peanuts in theaters, and I loved that movie. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, Peanuts just it feels very far removed from their usual output. I don't want that to like be considered an insult, but like it's really, really, really good.
Yeah, Peanuts was a fantastic movie. That definitely like resonated with me when I was
like the way it takes these classic characters that we know and love, and then just make it into like this really powerful message about seeing the good in yourself. It's done so well, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. And your analysis of that video like perfectly nailed the hammer, or hammered the nail in, whatever the analogy is.
Thanks.
Of like why that movie is so great. And I still want to rewatch it. I think is it on Disney Plus, or is it
No, they actually removed
It's not.
They actually removed, I think, all of them except the 5 Ice Ages and Ferdinand. Those are the only ones that they have left, I think.
It's probably on Apple Plus. I think Apple owns Peanuts, I think that's a crime. Like I don't think anyone should own Peanuts, or at least like at the very least Apple. Like who has Apple TV?
Yeah, I'm still pretty.
Do you know anyone that has Apple TV?
Yeah, honestly, I'm still pretty salty about Disney shutting them down. Not just because of like the actual like studio, but also the animators, rather than like actually giving them new work, because they very clearly they're very clearly talented animators. Like a lot of their movies look good, but instead of like giving them more work in a different branch like Pixar, they just had them all fired, and I think that's just messed up. Really messed up, honestly.
Yeah, and honestly, they could have like worked parallel with Pixar and Disney animated studios. I don't know why they had to shut down the entire studio. Like that seems a little unfair to everyone. But
yeah, plus they tried to still capitalize on the characters when they made Ice Age 6, which was so awful.
Yeah, I heard it was bad. At least they made the Scrat TV show, and Scrat actually got the acorn. I heard.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, they made this. So yeah, basically what happened was there was a small team of animators before they got fired. They all got together and did a secret project where they animated Scrat finally getting a chance to eat the acorn. I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, that's good. At least they did that, because I know that's like a running gag in the Ice Age movies.
Yeah, and the Scrat Tail short was pretty fun too.
That's good. But yeah, speaking of animated stuff, I can't do transitions, but I said DreamWorks at some point in this tangent. But what are some of your favorite DreamWorks movies?
Oh,
I know Bad Guys is definitely out there. Your PFP on Discord is the shark in that movie.
Yep. I really, 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 really like Mr. Shark.
Yeah,
But
I still
yeah.
haven't seen Bad Guys. I need to watch. I know it's on Netflix. I have no excuse, but I heard you said it was good. I should probably watch it.
Yeah, it's great. I'm gonna do. I've got a bunch of upcoming projects next year involving that movie. But in terms
Awesome.
of my all-time favorite DreamWorks movies, I like The Prince of Egypt a lot.
Yeah. Oh no, that's like just that is the answer to the best DreamWorks movie of all time. Possibly one of the best animated movies of all time too. Like Prince of Persia. Wow.
Prince of Egypt, yes.
Prince of Egypt. Wow. Yeah. Prince of Egypt is definitely like the best DreamWorks movie. But besides that,
Yeah, I kind of flip back. Actually, this might be a hot take. I kind of flip back and forth between that one and one other one that I think is just a little bit better, and that's Kung Fu Panda 2.
Yeah,
It's honestly
I was in that.
one of the best sequels ever made, let alone animated sequels. It's
Yeah.
so flawless.
The Kung Fu Panda trilogy in general is just a really good trilogy. I think that's like besides How to Train Your Dragon, I think that's probably the best DreamWorks
I
franchise
prefer
out there.
I prefer Kung Fu Panda over How to Train Your Dragon. Actually, that's
I think
like
that's a
kind of
lot of
my
people.
hot take.
Yeah, I know James did or Shafrillis did a video about why How to Train Your Dragon 2 wasn't as good, but I do like How to Train Your Dragon 2. I think I remember some of his criticisms and like understanding where he came from, but like
Well, actually,
disagreeing.
I think it's. I'm not really a huge fan of 3. That's my main issue.
I
with
haven't
the
seen
franchise.
3 yet. I
Yeah.
need to watch 3.
You should watch
But,
it and form your own opinion, definitely.
Yeah.
But just
yeah,
the way it
I-
ended, it just wasn't really what I thought it could have been, in my opinion.
Got you. I think one of my favorite, like I don't know if this is a guilty pleasure or not, but Captain Underpants was that holds a special place in my heart personally. Did you see that movie?
It's been a while. It's been a very long time since I've seen it because I remember I had watched it with my brothers when I think it was out on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, I watched it with my sister and my mom when it came out, and I adored that movie. I was a huge fan of the books because I read them in elementary school, and I loved the books. And the movie perfectly encapsulated the feel of the books in movie form, and I thought that was very well done. Not a lot of people really talk about it though, which is
Yeah.
kind of disappointing. But Captain Underpants was that's probably my. I know there's better DreamWorks movies. That's probably my personal like guilty pleasure DreamWorks movie out of all of them. Yeah. Did you have any other DreamWorks movies you wanted to talk about or?
Oh yeah, Megamind. Megamind.
Oh yeah, Megamind. Okay, yeah.
Megamind is
Yeah.
undoubtedly one of their all-time best. The way that it subverts the superhero genre.
Yeah. And like Shafrulo's definitely when I watched this video, he definitely turned my mind around on it, and I rewatched it after watching the video, and I appreciated it a lot more because that was definitely a movie that was pretty much swept under the rug when it first came out because everyone was like, "Oh, we have The Incredibles, we have like all these other."
Plus, it
like,
came out the same
animated
year
parodies.
as Despicable Me.
It did come out the same year as Despicable Me, and like everyone was like, "Why are we watching this Super Blue Man movie? Like when there's Despicable Me, which is like more unique or whatever."
Because
I
of the
think Megamind's-
Minions.
Yeah, the Minions, obviously. Yeah, the Minions. But yeah, no, I think if Megamind came out like maybe a year later, I think it would have probably had a better chance. And I'm glad that it's getting more recognition. I think they were making a TV show.
Yeah, they did mention that. I don't remember where it was
Yeah.
on, but I saw on Twitter that they were doing that.
Yeah, I think they're definitely doing more things with the franchise, which is great. I don't think it got a lot of love when it first came out, but I'm glad it got more resurgence. I think Shafrulo is definitely that video definitely opened the public's eyes to how good that movie was. So I'm glad that video exists.
Yeah.
And of course, like you got Shrek, like Shrek's iconic. Literally like DreamWorks cash cow.
Yeah, Shrek's good. It's just not really one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, like the first Shrek, I have a lot of great memories. But Shrek 2 though, that's a banger. Like you can't deny that.
Yeah,
Shrek
Shrek 2 is probably the only masterpiece out of the 4, in my opinion.
Yeah, of the 3 according to James because he really hates the dirty movie.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah, it's not great. I remember liking it as a kid, but I was a stupid kid, so I didn't know any better.
That was actually one of those rare movies that like I actually like didn't like as a kid because like I liked pretty much everything.
Oh, really?
I liked pretty much everything that was put in front of me. Like I liked Shark Tale when I first watched it.
Actually, that movie is actually one I didn't like as much as a kid. Like I didn't hate it, but like that's the one movie that all my friends loved that I didn't like as much. So that's my, I guess, Shrek 3 for me. Shark Tale.
I remember seeing Jack Black's name in the credits, and I'm like, oh, it's Kung Fu Panda.
It's funny.
That was probably why I liked
it
as much as I did back then.
Yeah. No, I don't think I like Oscar's character, or like I don't know, like I wasn't vibing with it. I don't know, but yeah, and also you like sharks, so you're probably biased against it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, no, and then like, what else? Oh yeah, Madagascar. That's a good franchise. The second one in particular, I remember seeing that in theaters. Like my family like quoted the crap out of that. Like Moto. I like to move it, and like just that entire movie is so good.
I don't really like Madagascar 2 that much, honestly.
Really? Okay.
I know Shafe thinks it's the best in the franchise. I do not find it funny, honestly, aside from the meme.
I thought it was hilarious. Oh my god, that movie is a riot.
Yeah.
I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but I think that movie is hilarious.
True. I think 3 is probably, like, my favorite out of the franchise. It's still, like, a 6 out of 10 movie. But, like, I kind of like the emotional... I kind of like how it tries to take a more emotional approach than the first two, with them realizing that their lives have been so much more interesting now that they've left the zoo.
Yeah, I like that too. And the opening and the ending are probably the best parts of the movie. The middle part, not so much. But I thought 3 was still a solid movie. And then the Penguins of Madagascar. The movie was actually pretty funny, but it wasn't like a great movie. I remember the TV show being a lot better.
Yeah, the show is like way funnier and just like better written overall. Honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
But I still kind of like the Penguins. I watched it in theaters.
Yeah, and the Christmas Caper, I used to watch that on a loop. Like that's like one of the best shorts I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I have.
Yeah, I love that short. I haven't seen it in a while though, but that's a very, very well done short. Okay, I think that's it for DreamWorks. Unless you had another one, I know they have been a lot more movies, but like none of their other movies are that notable. Like Monsters vs. Aliens.
True,
Boss
but
Baby.
We can talk about like some of the future releases that are coming out. Like,
oh yeah,
The Bad Guys is getting a holiday special, so that's nice.
Oh, good for them. Yeah, that's cool.
And
is it gonna be the same? I'm assuming it's gonna be the same animation style, right?
Probably. And then also, Kung Fu Panda 4 is happening. They announced they announced it on Twitter.
Yeah, I was surprised that they announced that because I remember reading on Wikipedia they planned on making 6 movies, but they decided to end it on 3 because I guess they thought they ended Poe's Journey, and now they're making a 4th one. So I wonder where they're gonna take the story.
Yeah, I'm excited to see these characters because I adore that franchise, but I haven't watched any of them in theaters yet. So this will be my first one. But I'm also I'm very, very, very skeptical about certain narrative decisions that they're gonna make. Like I have a whole upcoming video about one specific thing that I don't want them to do in moving forward. But yeah, I'm still like really curious to see how this turns out.
I got you. I guess I'll ask you that after we record this because you probably can't spoil it right now.
Yeah.
But I'm very curious to see what you think about that. Did you see the TV show with Jack Black in it, the one that they just made?
The Dragon Knight? No, I have not watched it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I heard it wasn't that good.
Yeah, I heard it was kind of bad.
Yeah, so I probably won't watch it, but maybe they'll tie it into that. I don't know. I also, if we're talking about the upcoming movies, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I think that comes out. When this episode releases, it'll already be out, and more people will be talking about it. But
probably
as recording, it hasn't come out yet. But yeah, I heard that movie was really good. So
yeah, there were a lot of early screenings, and a lot of people really liked it.
Yeah, I'll probably check that out if I have time. That definitely. There's so many movies coming out around this time. Like this is animation, but like the Whale, Violet Night. That Spielberg movie. All these are probably old news. Yeah, The Fabelmans. Yeah. All those are, again, this episode is going to come out like, I don't know when, but those movies are probably old news by now. I probably shouldn't say like the date this episode, but I really don't care. Like, have you heard podcasts where they're like, don't tell people, like, the date we're recording or is going to date the episode. Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah, I don't really care. Like, they can know we record this in December.
This is a very casual podcast. No need to worry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this isn't really like. I made this podcast so I can just talk to people because I like talking to people and get content out there. But yeah, no, back to the future DreamWorks movies. I think Kung Fu Panda 4 and oh no, they have more. Kung Fu Panda 4, Puss in Boots, Trolls 3, and then there's like Meet the Gomans. I have no idea what it is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't like
either.
Those movies at all.
I've never seen any of them because they look like baby movies. And nothing wrong with baby movies, but like I don't have the attention span for that. But,
yeah, they're good baby movies. There's just not a whole lot that I can get out of it as a grown man.
That's fair. Like kids movies. There's some kids movies that everyone can enjoy, and then there's other kids movies that only kids can enjoy. And like the kids, those kind of movies where like they can just turn off their brain and like watch it, and then like not think about it when they grow up. But
yeah, that's how I describe Illumination, honestly.
Yeah,
like I think.
Illumination.
I think people are a little bit like I'm not like praising them or anything. I'm not like saying I like these movies, but like I feel like people are like a bit too hard on them because like you have to take into consideration. They are very clearly trying to market to a specific audience, and like they're not automatically like without redeeming values, even though they are very clearly more interested in making money than making art, like a company like Pixar or Disney.
Yeah. I just don't like that they are fixated on like on this formula to make them money instead of like actually making unique art. Like I think. So many YouTubers already pointed this out, but Despicable Me is like the only movie that was actually like good because they actually tried. Like Sing 1 was okay. I actually like the Lorax. Even though a lot of people don't like the Lorax.
You're like the first person that I've seen on the internet give that statement. Everyone I've talked to hates it.
I don't think it's bad. Like it's okay. It doesn't hold a candle to like the book or even the first animated cartoon. But I thought it was fine. Like it's definitely one of the better.
It has some good music.
Dr.
I'll give it that.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the better Dr. Seuss adaptations. But I can see why people don't like it. No, I totally understand why people don't like it. And like when I say I like it, I don't think it's like high art or anything like that. I just thought it was fine. But yeah.
While we're on the topic of Illumination. We got to talk about the Mario movie, my man.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully this video won't come out when the Mario movie comes out. But yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on it because I kind of heard it. I think you talked about it in Amber's Discord. But what are your thoughts on like what we've seen so far?
I still don't like Chris Pratt's voice. Mm-hmm. I know that he's trying. I know you mentioned that he was trying to do like a Brooklyn accent. I get that. I just don't think it sounds that great, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah,
and like
the animation looks pretty. I saw that clip. I like how they've incorporated music from the games into the score. It sounds amazing. What I don't want to have happen, but I know it's probably going to happen, is Illumination tends to have a trend where they like to release a bunch of pre-marketing material, like all the different clips to their movies before they come out. So like there's essentially not really any surprises when they do come out.
Yeah. I haven't really paid attention to Illumination's advertisement style before the Mario movie, but that sounds like because Sony does the same thing with their movies. Like
True.
I think they spoiled a good chunk of No Way Home before that movie came out. Oh, not No Way Home.
Spider-Verse?
The second one. No.
Wait, Far From Home?
Far From, Far From Home, yeah.
Okay.
I think they did, yeah, and they also, I think they spoiled Venom too. Not Venom 2, but Venom as well, like the first Venom. I think. Because I remember this might have been after the movie came out, which is fine, but I think they spoiled, like, She-Venom being in the movie. But yeah, I hate it when studios do that. But yeah, like, I know I said that Chris Pratt's voice is fine earlier, but I am starting to see what other people are talking about. But like, I don't think it's gonna be bad. Like Mario's voice has been deep in the past. Like if you watch the '90s cartoon, the very first Mario cartoon ever, like he has like a traditional like deep voice, deep Brooklyn accent. And I think that's what Chris Pratt's trying to do. I just don't like that people are like so like are so quick to hate on him because of like whatever.
Yeah,
people
because
said
of
on
his
Twitter.
general reputation and like the voice
Yeah.
acting. But like, yeah, I can sort of understand that. I don't think it's
And
like,
like
it's not the worst
Yeah.
thing ever. It's just not that good, honestly, in my opinion.
And he's voice acted before. Like he played Emmett in the Lego Movie, and he was fine in that. And I know this Emmett and Mario are going to be different characters, but like he can voice act. Like it's not like they just got a big celebrity. I mean, even though they totally did, but it's not like they just got a big celebrity just because of his name. Like Chris Pratt can like voice that. Like he's been in animated stuff before, so I think he'll do fine. It probably won't sound like the Mario that we're used to, but I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be kind of hard for me to really judge the movie as a video game adaptation because I don't have the same level of proficiency with previous Mario content the same way I do with something like Sonic.
Yeah. I'm a huge Mario and Sonic fan. I was obviously a Sonic fan first, and then Mario came afterwards. But like, I think like when I first heard about they're making a Mario movie, I thought like it was interesting, but like you really can't make a cohesive story about Mario because his whole universe is centered around game mechanics. Like literally everything you think of with Mario is like a game mechanic. So it's kind of hard to like translate that into like a story or a narrative in like a very compelling way. Because like Mario, like everything in Mario is centered around him being a game character or like a video game. But like seeing the first trailers and seeing like the changes they're doing to make this into a compelling movie, like for example, Mario saving his brother instead of Peach, which makes more sense because for their first adventure, because he has a personal connection to Luigi because he's his brother instead of saving this random person that he just met. So I like that change.
Yeah,
and I like that. In that trailer you mentioned the Game Awards trailer that's already like months old at this point, weeks old at this point. I like that. You have that pawn shop where they're selling like old like Mario item memorabilia, and that's kind of like how they get those items, stuff like that. I like how the world is kind of like the Mario levels and stuff like that, even though it doesn't really make sense that like those bricks are floating. But it's like like I could kind of see what they're trying to do, and I'm very curious to see how they're gonna like translate into a movie in movie form. I'm getting very much like Lego Movie vibes from this, which is pretty cool. I don't know. Have you seen the Lego Movie?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. The Lego Movie.
It's sparked over 8 years of collecting.
Right. Right. How old were you when that movie came out?
I was 10 when it came out, but I didn't see it until I was like about 11. So like,
gotcha.
I watched it like about like a few months after it had come out.
Gotcha. I was like 14 when it came out, and I think I watched it like on DVD or something like that. But I think like they're gonna do what they did with the Lego Movie, where they translated like the fun of Legos into movie form. I think they're gonna do that with a Mario movie. So we'll see. Like I don't think this movie is gonna be bad. Like I think Illumination or Nintendo actually like forced Illumination to actually try with this.
Yeah.
With the narrative, and I think they'll at the very least it'll be very pretty looking. But I don't think it's gonna be like a bad movie. I don't think this is gonna. I don't envision this being a movie that's gonna be like one of the worst video game movie adaptations of all time. I think this is gonna be like a decent, like a well put together, competent movie. Don't know if it's gonna be like Oscar bait or whatever, but like I think it'll be competent. So I'm very curious to see like how it goes, and like how it's structured, like the story and all that stuff. I guess that's the end of the Mario movie discussion. But I guess that leads into like the next topic, which is like the future animation. So, and Mario movie actually is a good topic because I was talking to one of my friends' Discord servers, and he was telling me that even if this movie Mario movie, regardless if it's good or bad, it's gonna be successful, and it's gonna cause and it's gonna cause other companies to like capitalize on the IP of Mario and like get other IPs and like just try to do the same thing without having like the heart or whatever the Mario movie has if it's good. And like that's kind of like what we've seen that before with the Lego movie, because like after the Lego movie came out, we had like the Ugly Dolls movie, the Emoji movie, like all these copycats, and then like even back when Toy Story came out, we had like a bunch of copycats with the buddy comedy thing, like with the who made Open Season? Was that Blue Sky?
No, Open Season was Sony.
So yeah, I'm gonna get torched for that. Yeah, Sony, like, Open Season is pretty much like Toy Story but worse. And like it took a while for them to come up with like,
I'd say Open Season's more similar to Shrek, and I feel like
it probably is.
Yeah, Shrek probably has had like the biggest impact on modern day animation because of how widely successful it was. With like we saw the celebrity voice cast, the edgy humor, the pop culture references. Like you didn't see that in animated movies the same way that you did now before that movie came out.
Right, I agree. Yeah, Shrek was definitely like unique. It's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy in a sense, where like a lot of people were trying to copy that movie in that style, or like even Deadpool. Shrek was definitely like a very unique like animated movie at the time, and a lot of people copied that. And like now, I think that version of that would be for animation would be Into the Spider-Verse. We're seeing a lot of copycats for that. Like we got Bad Guys, like that animation style is definitely copied from Into the Spider-Verse. Even Puss in Boots is.
Well, if we're talking about visually speaking, then I don't have a problem with other studios taking inspiration from a certain look.
I don't either.
Because, like, these movies that you're talking about, like, that are taking inspiration from Spider-Verse, like The Bad Guys, they look, like, fantastic. This new 2D, 3D hybrid. It looks great.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't have an issue with that, but it's just like the idea of studios like copying what's popular or what's like considered high quality, and like I don't know, like that's just an interesting thing that studios do. And like I always like wonder what's the next like thing they're gonna copy, and I look at the Mario movie and be like, oh, are they gonna make like a Pac-Man movie in a similar style, or are they gonna make like a Tetris movie or something like that? And like try to capitalize on like a popular video game IP, like that's kind of the thing that like Hollywood has thrived off of, like just recycling old ideas, and it's just interesting to see how it's evolved but also stayed the same at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I feel like there's a very concrete difference between taking inspiration from something and just copying something because said thing was popular.
Yeah, that's true.
Like we see with Shrek, how they took all of those ideas and put it into these animated movies because we thought, hey, if Shrek made money, then this will make us money too. Except the ideas like the edgy humor and the pop culture references made sense in the context of that specific story, and they don't really just fit here. They just kind of feel like you trying to be corporate, if you know what I mean.
Right, yeah. And even like DreamWorks is at fault for this as well, because like Shark Tale, like that was definitely trying to copy Shrek and like doing the things that you said, like having like all these pop culture references without like any reason for it. Like if you seen like the advertisement of that movie, it's been a minute since I've seen it, but like I remember like they have like Fish King instead of Burger King, and it's like, why do they have Fish King? Like that's like for us that would be like Human King. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like, are we eating people or are they eating fish? And there was like a funny gag, well, quote unquote funny gag of them like having like a sushi restaurant in like the world of Shark Tale. But like, why is that a thing?
Cannibals.
Like, would he be going to? Yeah, exactly. Like, why is he? Yeah, and it's funny because no one was in there, and that's a joke. But like, why would that? In this world, how would that make sense?
Yeah.
The only reason why they did that is for that quick gag, and like those kind of gags are funny, but it doesn't do anything with world building, And like even like. I'm going on a tangent right now. I do this a lot, but Cars, like none of that world makes any sense. Like I love Cars. Like I love the first one and the third one are a great movie. Yeah, like I don't love them, but I think they're fine movies. Cars 2 is a guilty pleasure of me. Actually, I meant to mention that earlier, but it is.
Yeah, Cars 2 is like kind of ironically enjoyable for me.
Yeah,
even though it's like a 3 out of 10 movie.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's probably 2 out of 10. Nah, 3 out of 10 is probably better.
Well, 3 out of 10 because the animation and Michael Giacchino's score is actually so good. Like, I'm watching these unfunny car shenanigans, and it's like I would unironically listen to this score in the background. It sounds that good.
Like, is that meme of like the piano on fire? Like you see Mater talking, and then like Michael Giacchino's like at the piano is on fire. Have you seen those memes before?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that's basically the movie. Like,
he's the same guy that scored Ratatouille and The Incredibles.
So it makes sense. Yeah, and now he's scoring literally everything. He scored the Batman, He scored some of the Star Wars movies.
Rogue One, yeah.
Rogue One, yeah. I think he scored solo as well. No, that might be someone else. He's everywhere, man. Like,
yeah.
Incredible's pretty much set him up. I mean, for good reason. Incredible score is like iconic. Like, that's probably his best work. I don't think he's ever going to top it.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, also Up, because that was the first one where he won his Oscar.
Yeah.
And the Up
was a good score,
Up score is amazing, honestly.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I don't know. Incredibles has like a more like earworm of a tune, I guess. Like, I remember that tune over Up. But Up is definitely, especially for the first 10 minutes of the movies, Up is definitely a fantastic score as well. He definitely deserved that Oscar.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like, back to I wanted that.
We were talking about the
the
influence of how other films influence each other, and you were talking about Cars.
Yeah. They were talking about Cars because I love going on tangents. But yeah, no, I find it interesting that the idea of like movies and like Hollywood just copying each other without understanding why that thing worked, and like
yeah, undoubtedly.
Yeah, I think we've gotten past that because like Puss in Boots copies the style or the animation style of Adventure in Spider-Verse, but it looks like it's going to be a good movie based off of those reviews. So at least they're imitating it with the animation style, but the story and like the core of the movie is intact. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm like not opposed to the idea of stories being derivative of each other. Like, you can take a very similar commonly used narrative structure and retooling it to make it into its own thing. Like, going back to Kung Fu Panda, specifically with the first one, it's a pretty standard hero's journey where somebody gains power and he has to learn how to use it, and he ends up being the chosen one. It's a fairly standard narrative, but the way that the movie develops it and makes it its own unique thing, from fleshing out the different worlds to the themes, it makes it so fresh and one of a kind, honestly.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with that. And I remember seeing somewhere that it was Kung Fu Panda when they were making it. It was initially supposed to be a parody of like Kung Fu movies, and then they're like, wait a minute, what if we actually make this into like an actual like Kung Fu movie without parodying it, and then it became like a good movie. So I think that's very cool that they were able to make like a decent movie out of like talking cartoon animals.
Yeah, that's such a silly concept, and I feel like the same, going back to the parody angle, I think that can kind of apply to the bad guys, because like it's sort of a parody of heist movies when you think about it. Because when you think about how Mr. Shark, think about how Mr. Shark and he and all of his disguises, it's like a parody on like the bad disguise working and being easy to fool.
Yeah, I gotta watch that movie, but yeah, I'll probably understand what we're talking about when you watch that movie. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and also I'll talk about something you haven't seen, BoJack Horseman.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
I won't
do want to see that at some point.
You need to. It's so good. Like and we could talk about other ones, because there's definitely other TV shows and movies that are like BoJack Horseman, where it takes like, you have these silly, funny cartoon animals and like this traditional adult cartoon, but they're all sad. That's basically BoJack Horseman in a nutshell. And like it talks so much about like the film industry and like mental health and all these like really serious grander than life things, and they're using like this talking horse as like the catalyst of it. Like he's a puppet for all these serious issues. And I won't say any more about the plot or anything like that, because I want you to watch it. But like it's so fascinating that people can like make these stories out of these traditionally like silly cartoon characters. Like I don't think you can do that in other medium besides animation. Like even with Sonic, like Sonic, we love Sonic because
yes, we do.
Or yeah, I don't know why you like Sonic, and this is probably, when I explain it, it's probably gonna be the same reason. But like I love Sonic, and this year after seeing the second movie and like watching other people talk about why I love Sonic, I appreciate Sonic more. The stories that they tell on Sonic, even though they're not perfectly executed, they use these talking cartoon animals to tell these sort of serious stories. And like no one's done that before Sonic did that. And I think that's why a lot of people gravitate or like latch onto Sonic and its characters, because they see themselves in these characters.
Yeah, I do think that would definitely play a factor into why so many people enjoy this character. And I think going back to the talking animal point, because there are so many children's movies that are associated with that, they instantly assume talking animals equals kids. And I'm like, based on what I've seen from BoJack Horseman, it is like decidedly not a kid show.
No, oh my god, I would be traumatized if I watched that as a kid. I was a very scary kid. Like I was scared of a lot of things, but like
yeah, there's also another animated movie that is very. Have you seen the movie Rango?
No, I need to, but I heard that movie's pretty dark too for a kids movie.
Yeah, it's literally like all these talking wild animals, and you would think, oh, it's just a simple kids movie. And I remember thinking that as a kid, and then watching it, and then like there's all of these guns and death and like all of these dark themes, and I'm like, this is deep, man.
Yeah, I need to watch it because I don't remember. I think someone in Game Explain recommended it. Like this game, I don't. Do you know who Game Explain is? You know that YouTube channel?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, they basically they make video game reviews mostly on Nintendo games. But it was just funny how I think he made a running gag of like saying he had like a Rango disc and he was like really hammering on that Rango disc. And I was like, he's talking about Rango. I should watch that movie, and I still haven't watched it. But yeah, I need to watch that movie.
Yeah, I like Rango, even though I think Kung Fu Panda 2 should have won the Oscar.
Oh yeah, I did get nominated.
Yeah, Rango won Best Animated Feature. That's the only year that Disney and Pixar didn't get a nomination.
What year was that?
That was 2011.
Oh yeah, Cars 2.
Because Cars 2 came out from Pixar, and then Disney didn't release anything that year.
Yeah. Pixar had an off year that year. That's understandable.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I was about to say I felt like Shrek 2 should have won that year, but I remember The Incredibles came out. Incredibles is way better.
Yeah,
I think that's 2004. DreamWorks has gotten snubbed a lot. Like, there's definitely
it's not
some
movies. Their best movies that have been nominated. They've like just kind of had the unfortunate advantage going up against Pixar when they were like at their peak.
In their peak, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at these movies side by side with each other. Like, you see Kung Fu Panda and WALL-E. Okay, WALL-E, that's kind of a bad comparison, because WALL-E's my favorite movie ever. But, like, undoubtedly, I think that movie deserved its win. But, like, I like Kung Fu Panda. It's, like, a great movie, honestly.
Yeah, you can't compete with WALL-E. Granted, I appreciate that movie as a kid, but, like, I don't think that was my favorite Pixar movie as a kid. It doesn't really work as, like, a kid's movie, if I'm being honest. And that's, like, his biggest weakness, in my opinion. Like, I don't think... that's a family movie. That's more of like a movie, which is
I don't think I feel like I know a lot of people often associate The Incredibles and Ratatouille with like the Pixar movies that are not really for children, that are more so for adults. I feel like WALL-E would fit into that category,
more so,
like with its themes about the general idea of mega corporations monopolizing all the different aspects of our lives, or the environmental commentary, or like the nature of true love and how it can help you become the best version of yourself. Like, those are things that like hit harder as an adult, honestly.
Yeah, and like I know other animated stuff have done this, but like the first, I want to say, hour of the movie has like no dialogue in it. It's just like the robots talking to each other, and like I feel like that's boring to most kids,
Yeah, but I think it's just like, immersive, like where you just essentially...
It is, like, as an adult.
Just be like... Like, I remember just being visually entranced by everything that was happening on screen. Just seeing...
And I still loved it,
go throughout his day-to-day life, and you, like, find out everything you need to know about him without him having to say a word.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And like, I'm not saying kids can't enjoy, like...
They'll probably enjoy it for like the funny robot shenanigans in the second half.
Yeah. Because like you have the show was Samurai Jack, which is mostly silent. Have you seen that show?
No, I have not.
Samurai Jack is another great cartoon. You should highly recommend that. It's one of the best like TV kids cartoons of all time. Right there with like the Batman animated series or like Avatar: The Last Airbender. But yeah, that show is mostly like silent. Like most episodes have no dialogue, and it's just like Samurai Jack. It's just action, honestly. Nice. I'm sure you've seen Hotel Transylvania, right?
Yep, I watched all 4.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of them all the way through. But Jenny Tartakovsky, he created Samurai Jack. So you might know Samurai Jack through him. He also made Dexter's Laboratory too, which is another great kids cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Yeah, no, like Wally's still a fantastic movie. I saw that was on your Discord profile picture or profile or description, whatever, along with
Yeah,
Into
it says
Spider-Verse.
Wally
My
and
personal,
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse are the meaning of life.
yeah, Into Spider-Verse is my personal favorite movie of all time. Actually, that is a fantastic movie.
It was for a little bit, but it's still top 5. I really love that movie. And it does probably have one of like my favorite individual sequences in the history of film, when he uses his powers for the first time and he jumps off that roof with the glass.
Oh yeah, that's classic. That was in the trailer too. That's the moment I was like, this is gonna be a good movie.
Like I straight up cried the first time I saw that because I was like that overwhelmed. Like I wasn't sad, I was just like overwhelmed.
No,
like, is this real? Like, am I actually watching this? This is like actually insane, honestly.
Yeah, they put their foot in that movie, and like you hear the commentary on it, and Trey and no, it's not Trey Parker. That's South Park. Phil, what's his name? Hang on. I'm gonna kill myself if I don't figure this out. Hang on. They made the director of the movie. Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, on the
Lord and Miller.
I listened to the director's commentary because I'm a huge nerd. And I think in the when they got to the final sequence, they basically straight up said they saw animators cry as they were trying to get them to get like the final sequence right, and like the final sequence was like very like physically or technically demanding. I can't imagine how many hours they put into making that, and it's
they
also
need to
funny
know that
because
what they did was worth it, because that
that
animation is so not only influential, it's just so beautiful to look at. Honestly,
it is. And I can't imagine what they're gonna do with these next 2 movies. But it's funny. I had this thought like half of Sony's team was probably working on this masterpiece, or the other half was working on the Emoji Movie. I wonder what that
man, I feel so bad.
I wonder what that water room chat was like. Like the guy making the Emoji Movie is talking to like this guy who's super tired working on the Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Okay,
like,
interesting thing. So there was this comment that I found on one of Shea Frillis's his Sony ranking, where it says, it's one of the most liked ones, it says, "I'm convinced that the Emoji Movie was a fundraiser for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse."
I wouldn't be surprised,
that's
honestly.
So sad, but it's so...
Yeah, that's
so
probably
right.
true. That's probably true.
Right,
oh my god. That's probably true.
Oh god.
Yeah, but no, it's so funny the contrast between. I haven't seen Emoji Movie yet, but I probably will never watch Emoji Movie. But it's so funny to see the contrast between Emoji Movie and Into the Spider-Verse, and how different they are, like both critically and like visually and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just realized that Sony was the one animation studio we didn't talk about yet.
Oh yeah, we could talk about them, I guess. I mean, Into the Spider-Verse.
Obviously,
is my favorite.
Spider-Verse is the best one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mitchell's versus the Machines. I like that one.
That's great.
But
Love that movie.
Yeah, it's the first movie in a while that's like I actually like see myself so much in it, and it was kind of hard to watch at first, but like it's actually like a really funny, well put together movie, and like with the exception of Spider-Verse, obviously you can definitely see the influences they have with the visual style, and it looks amazing, honestly.
And like Mitchell's versus Machines is good for different reasons from Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse is just like a masterpiece on all classes.
Yeah.
Mitchell's versus Machine is just like a very fun movie to watch. Like I don't like comparing movies, and I don't think I don't know if comparing them is like I don't think
it's like
you should
apples to
compare them
oranges,
because
honestly.
yeah, exactly. They're 2 different movies. It's just one is like better because it struck a chord with me personally, and the other one's just like a very fun movie. But yeah, the other ones, I think I saw Open Season, and honestly, I didn't think that movie was terrible the first time I watched it.
I haven't watched
one of the
Open Seasons yet.
You haven't seen any of them yet?
Yeah, there's a bunch of Sony movies that I haven't watched yet. Like I haven't watched Surf's Up.
I haven't seen
either of the other 2. I recently watched Arthur Christmas because it's Christmas.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a while, but that's a great movie. I watched Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh, I love
recently.
Cloudy. It's so good.
That's a great movie. The only issue I had with it was the ending, and I even had the issue as a kid. I thought the third act was kind of like or not rush. It was too action packed compared to like the kind of the mellow tone of the rest of the movie. But other than that, I think that's a very solid movie, and it definitely struck a chord with me as a kid because I related to Frank Lockwood immensely when I came out because I wanted to be an inventor I was really into. I'm still into math and science. I'm a mechanical engineering major, but like I was very much like into math and science growing up, and I think they definitely knew kids watching that movie would be as well. And I think they really made a movie that spoke to those kind of kids. So
yeah, undoubtedly.
That was a fun movie. Yeah. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball 2, not as good, but it was still pretty fun.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. It was fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fine. But yeah, that's probably it with Sony. I don't really remember.
Yeah, they have more bad movies than good movies, honestly.
yeah, which is unfortunate. But hey, hopefully Across the Spider-Verse and with
the direction that they're heading, it seems like they're gonna be like the pioneers, they're gonna be like the mainstream animation studio, like online. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I love Pixar, but I think Sony is gonna like make some bangers better than some Pixar movies. I already think Into the Spider-Verse is probably better.
Pixar seems like they're getting back on track. Movies. Like with the exception of Lightyear, most of their movies in the 2020s have been pretty solid. Like I loved Luca became one of my all-time favorites. Honestly, I like Soul. Good. Turning Red was
was amazing.
Yeah, Turning Red was good in spite of its flaws. And then Onward, I know people don't really like Onward. I know people think it's mid. I thought it was pretty good.
I think it's mid. I think it's a little bit better than people were saying it was, but I do think it was mid.
I just think it works better as an exploration of sibling relationships than a D&D campaign. That's how I describe it.
Yeah, because like I don't know. I think the idea of like mixing fantasy and like modern technology is a cool idea, and I'm not really a huge fantasy guy. Like I haven't seen any of the Lord of the Rings movies or Harry Potter movies, but I do like the idea, and that's I don't know if you've seen Bright, the Will Smith movie that came out a couple years ago.
No, I haven't. I heard it was bad though.
Yeah, it was. It was basically Bright had the same premise as Onward, where it's like mixing fantasy and like modern technology or whatever. And I thought this movie would be like a better version of Bright, but it really didn't do much with that premise.
That's fair.
Yeah, and that's kind of unfair to the movie because I'm pretty much comparing a movie's failings to a completely different movie. But also it's Pixar, and I expect a lot more from Pixar. And that's the other thing. Like I think I'm a lot harder, and a lot of other people are harder on like Luca or like Onward
because of what we've seen from Pixar.
Exactly. Yeah.
I do kind of find that to be like a bit of a regressive outlook when comparison.
Yeah, it is.
Because like a good movie can still be a good movie, even if by comparison it's not as good as like the S-tier masterpieces that we got in the past.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. And I try to get out of that mentality because Luca is a great movie on its own. It's just compared to like Coco or like Inside Out, like some of Pixar's more recent like outings from like 2010s and even now. It didn't really do it for me. It's still a fun movie, but
yeah, it's the most egregious with Pixar because they have like probably the most consistent streak in terms of quality. Like obviously like they had a bit of a downfall in the 2010s with like all their sequels. But like overall they have like the most like universally like respected out of the 5.
Yeah. And it just hurts more when they release something that's like not as good.
Yeah, in comparison to like DreamWorks, where like it's kind of like hit or miss with them for the most part.
Yeah, I feel like James literally said this exact same thing. I feel like my mentality has morphed into James's mentality a little bit with that sentiment with Pixar. But like, I do agree that I don't think we should judge like future Pixar movies that aren't as good as the other ones solely for the fact that they're not as good as like their peak movies.
Yeah, and that applies to any Illumination. I mean, I say Illumination. That applies to any animation studio. Like,
yeah,
I don't think the Mario movie should automatically be written off as the worst thing ever because it's an Illumination movie.
Right, and even based on the trailers, this looks way better than any other Illumination movies. Like, it looks way better than the Despicable Me sequels, Lorax, Grinch, all those mediocre Illumination movies. Like this visually, we haven't seen anything with the story or much with the story yet. And I'm not really expecting high art because like it's Mario. Like Mario, it's the same story every game. Like Save the Princess, defeat Bowser. Like I'm not expecting like a high quality story from it, but I am curious to see like what they can do with the story. Just based off of the little changes they've already made based off the trailers. So.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, no, and I guess that leads into the last topic I want to talk about, which is like why we overanalyze like these children's movies. Because like I don't think like until like the late 2010s, people really took like children's movies like this seriously, at least on YouTube. Because like I know, like I don't have you seen Nostalgia Critic? You know what that is? Who he is?
I know who Nostalgia Critic is. I know who Doug Walker is. I don't know. I never watched him. He was kind of like after my time, or like
yeah, it definitely was. I watched
or like
him,
before my time, not after my time.
Yeah, no, I got what you meant. My bad.
I didn't really start watching YouTube until around like 2017.
Oh wow.
Or like not consistently. I mainly just used it to listen to music. I didn't start like watching like film analysis and that stuff until around 2017.
Got you. Well, Doug Walker was definitely the first YouTuber that I watched that actually like talked about like animation in like a serious way, and he actually helped me understand like just film criticism in general. Nowadays, you know, and that was back in 2013 when he was starting to get more popularity. Nowadays, and I don't know if you've seen Hal's video, Citizen Hal's video on Doug Walker or not, but he pretty much
I did watch Hal's video on that actually.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool. But yeah, I didn't finish it, but like he basically summed it up in a nutshell that, you know, Doug Walker kind of fell out the grace of like people we take seriously in like on like in like YouTube film criticism and stuff like that. Like it's not like he makes bad content, it's just it got stale. I think his audience kind of, or at least I grew out of his content. Because I was rewatching some of his videos the other day. I'm like, I was thinking to myself, I used to think this was funny. Like this he's just yelling and like screaming and stuff. Like it's not like funny, but yeah, like he was definitely the first person to like take animation seriously. And yeah, him and James, I don't know if James was like the next person, but I know he definitely got me passionate about doing what we do now, which is, you know, making video essays. I
think the very first one was Lindsay Ellis.
Lindsay Ellis.
Yeah, she's not doing it anymore, but I remember watching her video on Beauty and the Beast and about Stockholm Syndrome, and then like the way she like analyzed the different like history behind the film and how it tied into the historical context. And I'm like, this is like really interesting. Like I'm impressed that like people can actually do this with like movies about talking candles. Like that's really cool.
Yeah, and it's like obviously animators and like people who do this for a living, they put in like a lot of level. They're putting a lot of thought into what they're working on because that's their jobs. But like the audience, like we're just supposed to like watch it and enjoy it. Like we aren't really meant to like dissect every little thing that they have. It's something that was made for we can like have some sort of escape, or for, in the case of kids movies, for the kids to have an escape. It wasn't really made for the adults, but adults are making it. So like it's kind of cool to like, I guess, go back and watch the movies that we grew up with and like catch these things that the adults who worked in this movie wanted other adults to notice, even though this was made primarily for kids. Like Pixar especially, like that's like the standard for like movies that kids and adults can watch, and adults can actually watch and not get bored with. Because like, you know, Incredibles and Ratatouille, like we said earlier, even WALL-E, more so for me, those are movies that adults can watch and like not get bored by, even though they were made for kids.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
Yeah, and I just, but even still, like, hang on, what am I trying to say? I was about to say, I don't think it's normal for people to analyze it. That's not what I'm trying to say. I think, like, the idea of overanalyzing kids' movies comes from that, like, I guess that realization that there's something deeper in the movies that we're watching, in the movies that we grew up with.
Yeah, there are things that adults can get out of children's media.
Yeah.
Like, an animated movie doesn't have to be explicitly adult for adults to get something out of it. And that's why I really don't like the sentiment that, oh, it's just a kids movie. Because, like, kids movies are capable of conveying very powerful themes.
Right. And that being said, though, like, even kids movies who aren't like very deep.
Yeah, kids movies don't have to always like be.
Yeah, I still appreciate them. Like the DC Superhero Pets. I saw you made a review on it. I watched it recently. I thought it was fine. Like it's definitely for kids.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm burping. And I probably would have enjoyed it more as a kid, because there's definitely a lot of like jokes in there that I would have laughed at if I was a kid.
Honestly, I don't remember a single thing about that movie, so I can't really.
No, you're good. I probably appreciate it more because I don't know if you're like a huge. I don't know if you're like a huge DC fan, and I won't like talk about specifics. I just use that as an example. But I appreciate some of the jokes that they had, and like I also grew up with the there's an old Crypto the Superdog cartoon that used to come on when I was younger, like I think 2004, so when you were probably born, that I loved as a kid. And it's probably not good now. I don't remember much about it, but like, I remember like Crypto and like Ace the Bat Hound and like seeing those characters. It was cool to see them in like 3D and all that stuff. So I think I probably appreciate more than you and even like Hal, because I think he did a review on it as well. But I also recognize it's a kids movie. There's nothing deeper besides like it's just poop and fart jokes. Same thing with like Cars, the Cars TV show that they made. Like I watched it and I was like, there's nothing deep here, but it was just like an enjoyable like fun time.
Yeah, I get it.
So yeah. And like the Cars franchise in general, besides like Cars 3 maybe, I think that might have been a little deep, a little bit. The Cars franchise in general is just like, it's kind of like turn off your brain like fun. Like I don't really take those movies seriously. And it's good for kids to have that. Like not every kid's movie needs to be deep and profound. Because I know a lot of kids my age did not like WALL-E. I think it's good for kids to have those movies where it's just like, oh, it's like a fun movie for them, and like not every movie has to be higher like WALL-E or The Incredibles.
Yeah.
But I do like I like this culture of like overanalyzing movies, because it's like it's cool to like, especially for the people who work hard on those movies and don't get a lot of credit, especially for them, because like I feel like animators don't get a lot of credit, or even like people who work on those kids movies don't get a lot of credit.
Yeah.
So I like what we're doing, and even though like with the direction of my channel, it's going to be more about like darker superhero media, because like my boys video popped off, and I'm probably going to be making more videos that are a little bit more adult oriented. I do like you and James and Sis and Hal, like all the videos you guys are doing about like kids movies and stuff like that. I do appreciate that you guys are taking the time out of your day to like talk about kids movies. I also probably do kids movies as well. Like, I do want to like probably go back to my Toy Story video and maybe redo that, and like maybe even do other Pixar movies as well, but that'll be later down the road. I gotta focus on like capitalizing what's popular, what make my channel popular and things like that. So animation's cool. People should respect it more, and you guys should watch my other animated videos. I think my Monster University is good. Video is good. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, I did see your Monster University video. Very underrated.
The
video and the movie, they're both underrated.
Yeah. University is actually like not that bad. I don't think it's like amazing. I think I said that in the video, but it is pretty good, and I think I really do think it makes Monsters Inc. a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, give me like I don't want like 100,000. Just give me like 2.9 views on that, and I'll be happy. Please do that. Anyone's listening. But I think that's about it. Did you want to like mention any other points about animation, or like did you want to talk about a specific movie? Or
nope.
Like
I'll just leave you with this: animation is cinema.
It is.
Contrary to what everybody says, it can
Preach.
stand toe to toe with live action, and sometimes it can even surpass it.
Preach. Animation is a genre. Is that what we say?
No, animation is not a genre.
It's not a genre. It's not a genre.
Animation is an art form. It's a medium.
It's an art form. Yes. That's a quote from Brad Bird.
Yes.
We stand Brad Bird unless he did something that he's gonna get canceled for.
Now people are mad at him because he's working with he's still working with John Lasseter.
Oh.
So yeah, that is kind of but
yeah.
like I still love The Incredibles. I still love Ratatouille.
Yeah, he has those, and John Lasseter. He gave us Toy Story. I don't agree with him, but like he gave us Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, I don't like him anymore, but like I still like Toy Story 1 and 2.
Yeah, they're still solid movies, but yeah, animation is media. Wait, animation is
cinema. That's what I said. Animation
I
is
am
a medium.
tired. Anyway, thank you for coming in, Sid. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to do this.
No problem.
Definitely need to work on some stuff in the future, and we'll talk about that after this. But thank you guys for watching. Whenever you're watching, I hope you have a good day or a good week or whatever, and I will see you guys in the next episode or my next video or whatever. I'm still making this up as I go along. All right, bye.